Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me tonight on another episode of Spinning the Need. I'm your host, Anthony Spano. Tonight, we're going to be celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month and an organization that has raised over $1 million for breast cancer research in the last decade, and I think that money is more to come. With me tonight is the owner of Cheertime Athletics and the person who started the ZTA Pink Cheer Classic, Kim Caputo James. Kim, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing during a difficult time?
I'm being very creative. So, just things are different. I said before, it doesn't feel like it's October because we're still doing breast cancer awareness and we're still doing what we normally do, just in a different way.
Okay, and that's good to know. And
yeah.
and I know you got a lot going on, so we'll get right to it. Is my numbers correct that you guys have, for your ZTA, which is Zeta Tau Alpha, which is a sorority at Youngstown State University. It's the ZTA Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic, that you guys have raised roughly over $1 million in
yes,
give or take a decade?
It's been $1.3 million since we started the event in 2001. I actually started it when I was a collegiate member of Zeta Gamma at YSU. And then we joined forces with the Youngstown alumni chapter of Zeta when I joined the alumni chapter when I graduated. And so in the last 19 events, we raised $1.3 million.
And that's a lot. I mean, that's to breast cancer awareness and we'll get into a little bit about the event here. But Kim, tell us a little bit about kind of how you started this, where you came from, and kind of how you went to college, started from there to really build to the start of this event.
Sure. Well, I started at Youngstown State University and I joined Zeta Tau Alpha that around the same time that I became the cheerleading coach at Liberty High School. And so I was always wearing my sorority letters there and, always talking about Zeta because it was just something I was really excited to be a part of. And so through working with the girls and them wanting to do a lot of fundraisers and things like that to raise money for warm-ups and POMs, I was trying to kind of show them that when you're in a sorority, you don't fundraise for yourself, you fundraise for a cause. Ours being our national philanthropy, which is breast cancer awareness and education. And so then just one day driving in my car, I thought we should do something with the cheerleaders so they can see what a sorority actually does. So really was not something that I thought we were going to make a lot of money off of. It was more kind of a life lesson to the cheerleaders. We're going to work really hard on this day, then we're going to donate the money to breast cancer, So that was the initial idea. And then in the third year, that's when it kind of blew up. We were holding the event at Liberty High School and it was standing room only. Like we had attracted 30 schools to come. We had initially raised $3,600. Then we jumped to raising that year $20,000. Which was just blew my mind. I never thought, that doing this was going to raise, so much money. So that's kind of how it started. And then just escalated to a bunch of really committed, passionate, alumni working with our collegiate chapter to continue to watch the event grow. And, as something grows and things become exciting, then you get a lot of people on board, when you have an enthusiastic group kind of leading you. And that's kind of really what happened. So we've worked really well, the Youngstown alumni in our collegiate chapter, really well to make an event that was spreading breast cancer awareness in the Valley, which I think was our main mission, to really teach the community to think pink and spread breast cancer awareness. And then in addition to that, icing on the cake is that we were also raising a lot of money for the cause.
Well, let's talk about kind of how you got started. You talked a little bit about, hey, we're just going to raise a little bit of money, and we raised it. What did that feel like when you raised the first $3,600 at Liberty High School back in 2001 and 2002?
I think I was a collegiate member, so I never really did a fundraiser before that raised a lot of money like that. So I was used to individual things, we're all gonna sell pepperoni rolls, or things that I'd done in high school, having car washes and stuff. So something like this at first, you really don't think of something like that, I guess, when our goal wasn't really about money. It was really about just working with the cheerleaders to teach them something. So really, it was exciting because we had only raised $900 the year before that, doing more individual type things for breast cancer. So it was just exciting in general to just get to make a donation to our foundation that was, $3,600. It was just oh, wow, so then just as we started working together and coming up with different ideas and the event started growing and attracting more people, then we really never changed how we did things. We always sold t-shirts. We always had raffles. We always had concessions. It just makes a huge difference when you're selling to 10 schools, which was the first year. And then we attracted over 100 schools. Once we hit like 2009, 2010. And that's when we really started raising a lot of money, in one day for the cause.
Well, and let's talk about that. So you outgrew Liberty, like you said, in a couple of years. So where did you go from there, and what were you looking for in a facility?
Actually, we didn't look far. Once we were at Liberty and we knew we outgrew that, we obviously wanted to bring it to our home, which was Youngstown State University. So that was really our only focal point, was moving the event to YSU, with lots of hurdles and obstacles, because it was challenging to go to a university. At a high school, really, we were using the facility. We just used the concession stand. Where at the first year at YSU, where we weren't even allowed to have a concession stand. So there was a lot of hoops to jump through, and just a lot of people to talk to. We had a lot of support from people like, Greg Goulis, who was the student activities director. And then at the time, Dr. Cindy Anderson, she was the director of student affairs. And they were pretty instrumental in kind of getting us into the door and where we needed to be to be able to have the parking lot, to be able to even use the gymnasium on the day that we wanted it, So it was very challenging to move it to YSU, but there was no place better to have it. We are Zeta Tau Alpha, the chapter from YSU, and we really wanted to bring it to our home. And that's really when the Youngstown alumni got involved, because they needed more adults or more adult hands in it, and people that were, knowledgeable about the event, which were people who had since, graduated, like myself and our chapter advisors. They needed some help, to kind of help secure the location.
Let's talk a little bit about, many people may not know what Zeta Tau Alpha is. So explain what Zeta Tau Alpha is, or hyphen ZTA. Talk a little bit about how you joined that organization and what made you really make a difference when it came to breast cancer awareness.
Well, Zeta Tau Alpha is a sorority that is a national sorority, but at YSU, our local chapter is Zeta Gamma, and we really promote friendship, sisterhood, scholarship, and then of course service, which is how we obviously are so connected to our philanthropy, which is breast cancer awareness and education. And that's our national philanthropy. I wanted to join actually because my mom actually was a member. So I'm a legacy. My mom was a member of Zeta Tau Alpha in 1970. And she thought that this was something for me because it was just about being involved, being more involved in the campus, being a leader. And so she wanted me to check it out. So that was initially why I wanted to be a part of it, was to be, a part of something, I guess, bigger than myself. And so I initially found, just friendship on the first day, people that I connected with and things that were interesting to me. And I was really involved. I was a member of our executive council, like right off the bat. And so for me, it was really about being a leader on campus and, doing things for our community. And I think that that's what, drives us all, especially in our Youngstown chapter now, and even our alumni chapter. We all really have a passion for our fraternity and making it better, and the members, kind of giving them an all-around amazing experience in everything that you're looking for in a sorority. So especially friendships and service and scholarship and just, standards and bettering yourself as a person.
When you joined, when you first heard that the national philanthropy, or the organization that you give, is breast cancer awareness, and you kind of picked, hey, let's do this cheerleading competition or event, how did that feel? Kind of connect 1, 2, or was it kind of took some time to connect it?
For me, I only actually knew one person who was affected by breast cancer. when I first started the event. When I heard breast cancer was our philanthropy, the first event that I actually got to participate in was a national race for the cure, which was something that we supported as a chapter. And it was at the start of the school year. So that was like kind of my first event that I was a part of. And so I was interested, but I didn't know anything about it. And I really only knew one person who had been affected by it. Now, all these years later, I think the best connection I could tell you is first, not only having my own friends who, they have seen somebody battle breast cancer, like a couple of our chairs, their moms are breast cancer survivors, and they were attracted to ZTA because of our philanthropy and because we were supporting something that was so close to their heart. But then we actually had one of our own members. Actually, she is a 10-year survivor this year. And her name is Melissa Cherney, and she is a Zeta from Baldwin Wallace, joined the Youngstown Alumni chapter, and our event was the first event that she was participating with our chapter. And she just did a self-breast exam because that's something that we promote, is doing self-breast exams. So she's like, I'm going to go to this event. I should, do it also and, practice and make sure I know what I'm doing in case, someone asks me. And she did find a lump and is now a 10-year survivor. So I didn't know anyone really. I knew one person, and now I just know so many people. I have a friend now who is a 1-year survivor. So it really is something that feels really good to be supporting something that really does touch so many women. But especially because, like I said, I didn't know anyone. And now that I've just come across so many survivors, it feels really good that we are supporting people who have been affected that I actually know.
So let's talk about the ZTA Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic. Tell us what it's about.
The Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic, there's just so many parts of it that is amazing to me. But the main point of the day is that we are inviting cheerleaders from the Valley to come. They can be of any age, any cheer ability, and they're coming to perform in honor of people that they know who have been affected by breast cancer. And so that is the main point of the day. It really is about the survivors and honoring just the different people from the different communities and kind of coming together to unite as one for that day. And so we are really promoting to this teams to promote breast cancer awareness throughout the month of October. And then they come to the event and they do their performance in honor of people that they know. So we actually announce the people they're dedicating their routine to when they are walking out onto the floor. And then the main part of the day is right in the middle. That's our survivor ceremony where we invite breast cancer survivors to come. And we start from the person who has survived, is like the newest breast cancer survivor. And we announce all the way to, we have like a 20-year survivor or a 30-year survivor. And it's really, I guess, the idea came about because we wanted the kids to be able to see these are the people who have fought this battle. This is who you're cheering for. This is what the day is truly all about. So really, while the funds that we have been able to donate to breast cancer and the amount of money that we've raised has been just so amazing. That wasn't even the main focus of the day. It really is about the survivors. But then what a wonderful thing for us to be able to not only donate to the Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation through their Think Pink programs, which is self-breast exam cards and pink ribbons and just different programs that we support nationally, but also we've been donating to the Joni Abdu Comprehensive Breast Care Center. And that's been really special because, it's local. It's right in Youngstown.
It's right down the street.
It is. It's in Youngstown State University's backyard. So that has been a very special connection that we have made locally that I'm very proud to have supported.
So you said you've been probably doing this for about 18 years. Does that sound about right?
So this is this year would be the 20th event. Due to the pandemic, we had to, kind of be creative a little bit to do it a little differently. But this year would be the 20th anniversary of the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic.
And out of that, how much have you, just to reiterate, how much have you raised total, not including this year, because we haven't had a final total yet. We'll announce that at a later time. How much have you raised over all the years combined?
So over all the years combined, we've raised about $1.3 million.
That's a lot.
It
for
is
breast
actually
cancer.
like I never really. So it's weird because I have to always. Our financial chair, who has actually been a part of the event since the second year, she joined as a new member of Zeta. The second year of the event. So I always have to send her messages like, how much money did we raise in whatever year? And so even though I started the event, like we have so many chairs and so many responsibilities spread out between so many of our members that like I have to like message her like, Nicole, how much money did we donate here? Or like whatever, because it's just been so much you like almost lose track, of how much we raised. Like that initial $3,600, I'll always remember. The 20,000 we raised in the third year, I'll always remember. Those milestones that we reached. You always remember those, but just the in between. But $1.3 million is how much we've raised. Since
a lot of money that Nicole's had to count.
Yes, we actually laugh about that because sometimes it's been in pennies. We used to do a penny drive. And then we had to start encouraging people to please bring that money in a check form. Like you can collect it in pennies, but we need to bring it in a check form to the event because it's different when you're counting for like 20 teams. But like then when you bring 100 teams and everybody's, donating, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, as you can see, you have a fan.
Bookstore.
You have Ryan McNicholas just made Kim is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
And it's funny because we all have some sort of giving back to our communities. How does it feel to give back that? I mean, no matter if it's, like you said, $3,600 or I know some years it's been over $100,000. How does that feel to really give back?
I never actually sit and think about it. This is weird. Like when we're doing it and we're so like dived into it, the event never ends. Like if you're an event chair, like the next day we're all on the phone, like, or we already started planning the next year. So like the event never ends. So sometimes you never sit back and think like, wow, I can't believe we just did that, but I did have like a unique situation. Like I actually went for a mammogram to the Joni Abdu Comprehensive Breast Care Center. And I actually got really emotional when I was sitting there as an actual patient because I kept thinking, I can't believe we donated so much money here. Like I never sit and think about that, but it just feels so wonderful, especially when you're sitting looking at other people. And I mean, I did this. I kept looking like, I wonder if that lady's a survivor. Maybe she sat in the Serenity Garden that we donated to. That was our initial donation. They started a Serenity Garden that was kind of like a peaceful place for a breast cancer survivor or anybody to go and, kind of sit, collect your thoughts outside. And it's just beautiful. And I was just thinking like, I wonder if that lady ever sat there or read the plaque that says, Zeta Tau Alpha and wondered what that was or who those people were that donated, So I never actually think about it, but it feels really great. But I'll tell you what feels even better. And, I get emotional about it because, this has been a 20-year thing for me, but is getting to do that kind of, make a donation or make an event like this with like your friends, because whether we met each other for like a hot minute when like, now I'm a little bit more removed. Like I'm an alumni. I'm actually the Youngstown alumni president. And then getting to work with the collegiate chapter where like they're brand new to this. And so they haven't seen the, how many years of like working up to, being able to get to this caliber of an event has come, but we all have that connection, and everyone's working hard, whether you're running it or you got 200 hot dogs donated, it's just an amazing connection that we all have, and getting to do it with your friends, it's pretty amazing.
I have to ask this question because as an event coordinator of a huge charity event like myself, and you know this, sometimes you're like, why am I doing this?
Yes.
Because you're running around crazy because you're in charge of so many things. You're doing a lot of different moving parts. It's like, why am I doing this? And then, like you said, at the end of the day, you're like, wait a minute, I just raised X, Y amount to give back to survivors, to kids, to whatever. It feels good. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, 100%. Like when you really sit back and think, I mean, really, I'll tell you that especially because of not being able to do the event the way that we normally do this year, I've had a lot of time to sit and really think about it. And you're just, honestly, I'm just filled with a lot of gratitude because it's really a community event. Like it's not just the members of Zeta that are putting this on. I mean, we have cheerleading squads that are like, they have their pink pom-poms, they're collecting in their stands, donations, and they are spreading breast cancer awareness, and they don't realize, how important that is. Then we have, people that are coming and volunteering, like all these other fraternities and sororities on campus that year after year are constantly being supportive, and the university and the staff at YSU and just people's parents, members of our chapter's parents.
I think I was there early in the morning on some years, or when as
cheerleading mats,
as I was getting calls.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just those things that people don't realize is that, it really takes everyone. And I feel like that's what's kind of special about our event is that it's a whole community event. Even if you're just coming for the one day as a fan, everybody has pitched in and made some sort of contribution. And that's what I think makes it really special and really an amazing event.
Especially the 5 a.m. calls that I used to get.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. Like, we can't get into YSU. Can you please unlock a door? Because
like I have that type of.
You never know. We're always looking for help.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing is you moved it to YSU and you pretty much quadrupled your attendance, and that helped. And so let's talk about so. In the past, you've had it at Youngstown State University every year. Now we're kind of running into the pandemic. How did the pandemic change the way you're doing this year's event?
Well, we are not able to have an in-person event. And actually, we kind of made that call in mid-July and kind of started to talk about how like we're probably not going to be able to do this in person. And it was really hard, especially for me to accept because we had been doing it for so long. Like, this is what we do, So I kind of felt like I didn't have a feeling for a while. And actually, my brother is a principal at at Girard High School. And he said in his commencement speech that, you may not be doing things the way that you thought you would be doing them, but you still get to do them. And I really started thinking about how like, okay, we're not going to be able to do this the way we want to do it, but that doesn't mean we still can't do it. And so what we are doing is, I think, 3 really cool things. My first and foremost thing that I think I was the most concerned about was the survivors. We have survivors that come back every year and they walk in our survivor ceremony and we honor them. Some people that we've seen for, many years, like our friend Nicole, who's the financial chair, her mom would be walking for her 20-year celebration. Wow. So, that was something that, obviously was a concern. We want to honor them. So we are putting together a virtual survivor ceremony. And then we have senior cheerleaders. So we've always honored senior cheerleaders in our event, which became even more amazing as, the event went on more years because some kids have been in it since they were, a little kid. And now they're in it for 10 years. So we needed to honor them because, I don't want them to miss out on one more thing. So we put together a virtual senior ceremony where we are still honoring the senior cheerleaders. And then with a twist, it was a little bit harder to consider trying to do an actual event virtually. So we are putting together a documentary that is basically the story of the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic and just about how it started, kind of how we just talked about, but then just how it grew and some of the event milestones, some of the special things that have come from having the event. A lot of like, did you know? I bet you didn't know this is why we do this, like just things about the event that we do a certain way, but it's because of a certain person or because of something special that we brought to the event that people don't really know about, because not everyone has been a part of it, for 20 events. So
behind the scenes.
Really, it is. It's behind the scenes. So we actually interviewed 40 different people, breast cancer survivors, people from our chapter who are survivors or who are involved in Zeta because they have a connection with a family member who had breast cancer, actual faculty from YSU, former and current, and some people from our National Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation, and then a lot of the different chairs, either former or people who have been the chairs, since the beginning. So it's a true story. Like, this is how the last, 20 events had played out, or 19 events played out. And so it's been really fun. And that's why I think for me, I mean, it has really been an opportunity to sit back and think about, wow, like, look at what all of these people have done. I've written a lot of thank you notes. I'll say that in the last couple weeks, or last couple months, of just things that I've remembered, and hearing the story from different people's perspectives is very interesting, I think.
Well, and let's talk about your upcoming Chippingram and Cheer Classic. So when you talk about, hey, we interviewed 40 people of a variety of different backgrounds, how are the logistics of trying to get all those interviews to this one presentation video that you're trying to put together?
So we've had some of our own members who volunteered to put together the actual interviews. So we've done Zoom interviews with everybody. So everything is socially distanced because we're all on Zoom. And so then it's all going to one person's cloud, mine. And then I'm very lucky
I would hope so.
I have a very tech savvy husband who really understands. I mean, he's been a part of this event, obviously.
Good job, Mr. James.
Yes, thank goodness for him. He's
Get
actually
a shout out to him.
He has been putting together the story, and he has put the clips together in many, many sleepless nights, because this is not, something that we like professionally do. So he's putting together the story. And it is a fantastic story, I think. I mean, not just because I'm a part of it, but because I think it is interesting to see, just, if this isn't an idea that I rolled out of bed and thought, and one day we're going to have 100 cheer teams come, and we're going to raise $1.3 million, and we're going to be on Good Morning America. And
yeah, that's another thing.
All of these things that I never knew any of these things were going to happen. I really thought that we were going to just, teach my local cheer team just a little bit about philanthropy, and that was really all it was supposed to be. So that's what really is kind of cool about the whole thing. And just, there's been a lot of great things that have happened to our own members, or just a lot of great stories that have come, and connections we've made with different people because of it.
Well, and let's talk about that. I think the one year you guys were on Good Morning America. I think it was the week of the Cheer Classic, or a couple weeks.
It was like it was for the presidential debate that they came, and then our event was that Sunday, and then we had a very enthusiastic Zeta that just was in the right place at the right time, and they said, like, hey, there's this flyer, that they saw of ours, and she said, yes, I'm a Zeta, and so she really just was very proactive in saying, like, let me call my advisor. I was their advisor at the time. Let me call her. And then it just was something that happened so quickly, even.
And Robert Robbins is actually a cancer survivor, or breast cancer survivor.
Is a breast cancer survivor. And that was a little bit more fresh, like back when we were on. It was very new that she had just been a breast cancer survivor. So definitely, I think maybe a special moment too, for us, that not only are we on Good Morning America, but we are also being interviewed by the very person who actually is a survivor. That was pretty special for us.
How'd that feel? I mean, Robin Roberts is a big, well-known, great journalist, and just there at the right time.
Definitely I think that was the most nerve-wracking thing I had ever done. When you're talking about your own event, it's easy to say, like, I know everything. You can ask me anything about the event. I know every single thing about it. But like, I remember I stumbled over the word philanthropy, like a word that I say in, like, it's my daily vocabulary, and I couldn't get it out. It was a little cold, so I'm blaming the cold, that I stuttered a little bit, but I'll never forget. Like, I didn't watch it for a long time because I couldn't believe I couldn't say philanthropy. But I was nervous, we're representing our national fraternity on national television. So I felt nervous. Now, when I look back at it, it actually was a clip that they used in our national philanthropy video that was released for several years. And so just I was the chapter advisor for 9 years. So I was at their sorority recruitment when they were playing it. And it was just funny because every time it came up on the screen, it would be me. And then like everyone's head would turn like, that's her. Like that's the girl that's on the national news. So it was just fun, and a really good memory to have. Jessica Quinn was the other person that she was a senior in the chapter when we were on. So like, just like, that's a memory that I'll always remember, that we got to do that. So it was special. It's in, people always ask me like what my favorite thing about the event was or what my favorite memory is. And I'd say like, I have a lot. That's my top 10, I'll say for sure. Absolutely.
But it's funny. It's funny because it's when you were talking about that, everyone's like, she's right there. She's right there.
That's her.
It's over there. Well, so give us so you guys are putting together this moving video with all these survivors and past. When do you plan on playing this video or making it public?
So it will be public actually on October 25th. That is the day our event was supposed to be. So it's going to start honoring our survivors, because noon is when we were always honoring our breast cancer survivors. So that will be the very first thing, and that's going to be at noon. Okay. And then that's going to be followed by the actual story of the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic. And then following that is going to be honoring our seniors, because that's normally kind of how the day would pan out. The first, after we did some performances and things in the morning, then it was first our survivors, and then the ending was the seniors. So then we put our story just like right in the middle of that. So that is going to be actually streamed on WFMJ, and it'll be on the their Facebook and YouTube and their link to their website. It'll be on their website. And then we'll also pull that link, and it'll be on the ZTA Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic.com website, as well as on our actual Facebook page, which is ZTA Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic. So people could view it there, but I'm sure it'll be shared as well.
Yeah, I would assume so. It's a great event. I've been to, I don't know how many.
A lot of them. Huh? A lot of them.
Yeah, I have been to a lot of them. Let me ask you this: are you guys still taking donations?
So we are taking donations still. Actually, tomorrow we'll put live the link. That'll be on our ZTA Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic Facebook page, and that'll be all the donations from the link will be donated to the Zeta Tau Alpha Foundation directly to Think Pink programs. And then also, we have obviously been contacted by some schools that have always been donors. So we also still are able to accept donations to the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic as well. So that it's two ways that you can donate. And we'll actually be having putting that out tomorrow so that people can find it on our Facebook page if they're interested in making a donation.
Okay, that's still good. So you're still collecting money.
Yes.
So once that's done, once all the video and your husband doesn't sleep for the next week.
He hasn't been sleeping, but whatever.
It's
fine.
We're used to it. Yeah. So what's your plans moving forward? Because as you could say, we're still in the pandemic.
Right.
So what are your plans for the future with the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic?
Well, right now we've already announced that next year, the 20th anniversary actual live event, I basically just postponed it. So it's still going to be the 20th anniversary. And so right now we have it as October 24th, 2021. And so then we're just going to basically, kind of go with the flow for now and see what happens. Like, obviously, I'm planning to hopefully be planning this event for next year, because, I know I certainly miss the hype of getting ready for the event and, all that comes with it. So that's the game plan thus far.
Now, so you've been doing this for 20 years, which next year will be your 20th, because unfortunately this year you couldn't do that.
Sure.
Do we see something passing it down to your kids or?
Well, we did talk about the 20th anniversary being the final Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic for no other reason except that, sometimes, events like this run its course. And while Zeta and Youngstown will still be thinking pink and still be doing as many things as we can think of, and maybe some new things that we can do to bring the awareness of breast cancer and also raise money for the cause. The 20th event is intended to be the final Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic.
20 years of pink ribbon. That's a not many events last that long, especially in the Mahoning Valley in Youngstown, Ohio.
Sure. I think it's just, I really think it's a testament to just our valley and, the cheer teams and the donors and the volunteers, and then of course, we have a very strong Youngstown alumni Zeta Tau Alpha chapter and a very strong Zeta Gamma chapter at YSU. And I think just here in Youngstown, we're a force to be reckoned with. So I think that all of us together, coming together for this cause, really, I think, it takes everyone to make it happen. And I think that's why it's lasted as long as it has. And, it'll always be in my heart. I started the event. It's been my entire adulthood. But, we wanted to end on a high note. And I think that we could do that, in a 20th anniversary, like big celebration.
Go all out. And as you can see, I'm wearing pink for breast cancer awareness. Thought it would be perfect. So, okay, now I'm going to have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, I'm interested.
So here we go. Best memory.
Okay, best memory. Am I allowed to have more than one? It depends.
You can have a couple. That's fine. You can have a couple. It's fine.
Okay, great. So one is that my husband did propose to me in front of everybody at the event in 2011.
Where you dropped your clipboard.
I did. And I had absolutely no clue that was happening because I am trying to run the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic. So all the clues were right in front of my face. I didn't even notice. So
you don't notice stuff like that.
No clue. That was super exciting just because, everyone I would have wanted to see and be there for me was there. So it was just very special. The first time that we raised $20,000, honestly, in Liberty High School, I remember the entire scene. Molly Miles was my roommate, and she was the financial chair because back then it was the chapter treasurer that was in charge. Because the event was so small.
That's all.
And I remember her face was like, "Do you want me to tell you how much?" And I had no idea. When she said $20,000, I actually pushed my chair out and I had to walk out of the room because I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't believe it. So that was really, really an amazing, a really amazing special moment. And honestly, probably the 10th anniversary, our National Foundation president came to the event. She didn't just come. She actually worked in several areas of the event. And just, that was an honor, to just have somebody from our National Foundation actually come and was, curious enough to see, what are they doing in Youngstown? Let me go see. It was very special for everybody. I think just the opportunity for our collegiate chapter to meet somebody, that doesn't happen all the time. No, everyone doesn't get to meet the foundation president, so those three things right now stick out in my mind the most, I'd say.
Well, especially when you put them to work when they get there. That's not...
That's okay. What we do.
Favorite year.
Favorite year. Okay, so of the entire event, I'll have to say.
And why?
2012 was the year that we raised the most ever. That was $164,000. And I think our goal was only 150, and I thought that was bold. So it's very shocking. But it's not about the money that was raised. It was really about, I was the chapter advisor. And so I worked with the girls, not just on this event, but I was at their chapter meetings every Sunday for 9 years. And what was special is the groups of girls and the connections you start to make with them. You start to really get to know them. And so you're watching girls graduate and become what they said they were going to be. And you're watching, them work on the event that you started. But, I'm seeing it every day, all the time. It was right in front of my face. I was actually able to watch them do the work. And I just think that was just a special thing to be an alumna with my alumni chapter and get to work so closely with them and then us be so successful. There's just nothing better than, that feeling of, the unity that we all had. It was just, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
The most moving moment.
The most moving moment. There's been a lot, but I will have to say, one of the most special moments I'd say is, I don't think it's just a one-timer, actually. It's in our survivor ceremony, when you announce the names, we announce each person how many years they survived, and they get a balloon, and you walk up and you give them the balloon. And so handing the balloon to somebody to any survivor for however many years, it's a moving moment, whether you know them or you don't, because like, you know, we were able to unite all these women together. And I mean, for me, of course, you know, I'm a cheer person. So it was so important that girls got to actually see who they were cheering for. So that moment was always moving. And then especially so when, you know, I get to hand the balloon to my friend, like, Melissa Cherney, this is your balloon. Like, you're a 1-year survivor, then you're a 2-year survivor, you know, like, and you're watching it repeat. And it's like another year that she's healthy, you know. Same for like my friend Nicole's mom, my friend Melissa's mom, you know, watching people that you know and you've seen them actually go through it, you know, because they're your friends. So you like see them. It's special. It's a special moment.
What, and you may or may not know this question, but how many years has the most survivor that you've had year-wise at the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic?
Okay, so I do remember a 29-year survivor. And I just remember that because I was already crying. And then that was just like even more emotion came out. But this year, in our virtual survivor ceremony, now survivors were able to submit pictures to us. And so we're still doing it the same way we always do. So we have singers and they always sing a song prior to it. I'm not going to ruin it for everybody, but my envision.
Teaser.
It is a teaser. My envision for the 20th anniversary was that we were going to call back our all-star singers from Zeta, because we do a lot of songs, you know, singing in the fraternity. And these people were just like our rock stars. So we were calling them back anyway. So instead they don't have to fly in, you know, from Florida, because we did have somebody that was participating, you know, and she's from Florida. But now they don't have to fly in. They're just doing it virtually. So it is not only Zetas, but some people who have been singers in the ceremony, you know, because they were people that I had personal connections with. So they are still doing the song that we always do. It's just, you know, not in person. And then each person in the survivor ceremony, it's going to say how many years they survived. And then their picture is going to show. And then it's a picture they submitted to us. And there is a person that is a 41-year survivor.
Wow.
And I believe that she's 93 years old. So that's pretty cool. I remember opening that and I saw like, she's 93, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing, you know? And so it's a 41-year survivor and I know that that's the highest number that we've had to date.
That's phenomenal. And I wish you the best of luck for this coming Sunday. Give everyone the details of when everything will be playing, date, time, and a website to check it out.
Sure. So it's going to be playing on Sunday, October 25th. So this Sunday coming up. It all starts at noon, and that will be starting with our virtual survivor ceremony, followed by the story of the Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic. And then followed by that is honoring our seniors in a senior ceremony tribute. And those are pictures of local cheerleaders that were contributed by their coaches. So we'll be honoring them as well. You can see it streamed on WFMJ on their YouTube, Facebook, or their website. And then in addition, we have our ZTA Pink Ribbon Cheer Classic Facebook and website that it will also be streaming on.
Kim, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. You're always welcome on my show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so glad that we were able to connect.
Not a problem. Always a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Check out anthonyvspano.com for more interviews, announcements, and updates. I hope you have a blessed night. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy your night. And happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month.